Motivation on E. Whole Wi-Fi, my peace, dear Lord. It's your boy Chris Lee. Begging you to set me free.
What up, it's your boy Chris Lee, and this is another episode, you guessed it, Blurred Talk. Now this episode, I just got off work, but I got to put this episode out ASAP. Today's date it's Friday, it's April the 19th, one day before the day, you know what. So everybody out there that's celebrating on tomorrow, make sure you do it in moderation and make sure you do it in a safe spot. You know, you might get in trouble. So with that being said, we're talking about, excuse me, you might hear my dog barking in the background, but we're talking about episode 6 of X-Men 97. Now, this episode here was different, was in a different tone than the previous episode. Previous episode was like a huge, like, you know, what the F moment, like what just happened? Is this for real? You know, so, you know, while everybody heads is just willingly trying to figure out conspiracies and is he really gone? Is Gambit really out of here? You know, so this episode really kind of highlight Charles Xavier on his while he's out here with his old lady and he's on their planet and she's pretty much a queen and he's about to get married. They're into their culture and they're like, yo, he's a human, like, you know, he ain't really one of us. So it's kind of one of those things there, and I love how they kind of showed him there, because at first when they were saying on this series he was assassinated, and I'm like, the last episode I remember watching on the OG X-Men, he kind of went with his shorty. Like, he went off into space with her. Like, that's how I remembered it. But then they say he's assassinated. So, but to see him, it's like, okay, like, I know I wasn't tripping, you know? And seeing him walk out there, I don't know if y'all saw that, but seeing him walk out of there, just walk out was crazy. Like, he came out of the shadows on some Thanos shit. Like, he just came out of nowhere, bro. I'm like, yo, like, I knew he could use his mind to kind of walk in a sense, you know what I'm saying? But he used this contraption that she came up with so he can walk, so they don't know that he's not able to walk. Because I guess they would have seen that as weak. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. They already say he's human, so he's already weak. He don't need no more points off his card for them to say, you know what, he's weak and he can't walk and he's bald. Like, where you get him from? He's bald, weak, and can't walk. Like, you know. So I mean, you know. So it was pretty cool seeing that, but just seeing that dynamic with him and this shorty was just one of those things where it was cool because it showed him finally finding peace. Like, he was on Earth for the longest and he wasn't really getting the respect the mutants deserve, although he was fighting for the right to be seen as equal. They weren't trying to give it to him. The humanity wasn't trying to give it to him. Friends of Humanity was out for the mutants. It was just not a winning situation. So when he found himself there with her, he found peace, he found harmony, he found purpose outside of just being Professor as Charles Xavier. He found a love interest and he loved her and she loved him and she would ride or die for him. And the episode was a really cool episode. We're gonna speak on his part first, then we get to Storm, because his part is kind of like one of the biggest kind of like, you know, moments. And then obviously they didn't want him. They didn't want him to be a part of their culture because, again, he's not part of their culture. Like, he's an outsider, you know. I mean, you know, and he's like, yo, like, I've left home. I left my home, not knowing what it could be like to be with my love interest. I've been here all this time. Like, put some respect on my name, you know. And then her sister wasn't trying to have that. She wasn't feeling that. She was like, you know what? I tell you what. If you really want to just leave home behind, then have my sister wipe all of your memories. So that way you won't be tired or have any longing for home or any reason to do anything conniving towards us, you know, because you now are truly one of us, because your memories is only being with us if you wouldn't do that. And obviously, he didn't want to do that because he's an X-Men. He has family down there. The X-Men are his kids. He loved them like they are his own children. So he would never do that. He misses his friend Magneto, and everybody's there. So he's like, nah, these are the memories I have. You cannot take them from me, you know. And he was torn. He was like on some like, hey, bro, like if I have to leave old girl, then I have to leave old girl. But I'm not gonna forget where I came from. And I respect that, man, because that's some real dudes. That's some real dude. That's right there. You know what I'm saying? Shh, right there. Because he didn't want to forget where he come from. He could have easily said, you know what? Yeah, they'll figure it out. Yeah. But nah, he stood by his guns. He stood on business. And she was, you know, and he was talking to I forgot what boy name. I'm gonna have it listed here. And he was talking to him, and when they was looking at the statue, or looking at the statue, whatever they came up with, and he was talking about the story between the two rivals, and they became married just to have peace throughout the galaxy. He was like, is this not the same? Because I'm human and mutant, and I'm marrying her. Is that not the same what they done before? Like, why is this any different? And it kind of got to the point where she was like, are you really contemplating like keeping your memories? You do know if you keep your memories, we can't get married. Like, I would have to give up my throne. And that's what my sister won't. Like, she won't my throne. She knows you're not going to give up your memory, and she knows I'm not going to let you go. And she wins, you know? So nah, like, we can't do it that way. And he was like, to the point where he's like, you know what? I do it. For my love, I do it. And he was hesitant when she was in the process of doing it. He was still hesitant on doing it. Like, he really and truly didn't want to, you know? And then her sister came and was like, I told you he was hesitant. Like, she didn't give him time to really think about anything. Like, he just had a moment like, you know what? See, I told you. Like, she didn't get, because she wanted that throne so bad. And she even called Earth ghetto. That was, like, I love the writing there. She called it that ghetto. Like, yo, like, yeah, that's what, yo, give him some swag to him. Give him some swag. Yeah, ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know somebody black wrote this, and I help with it. And again, whatever the reasons Disney let go of the creator or the writer of this series, of this iteration of X-Men, whatever their reasons, I'm not going to get into politics. But I love his writing style. I mean, he's a great writer. But again, I don't know I don't know. It's so many different things these people be doing nowadays. You can't stand by them because you don't know what these people really about now. You know, look at Diddy. You never know what these people really be doing. So I'll just say I don't know. But I do love the writing style. Like, I do love it. And I hope they continue in the same track, even though they may replace him. I hope they continue in the same path. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. But then they had a huge fight, like a huge brawl. And then it got to the moment when Professor X was like, you know what? I'm Professor X, bro. I'm gonna just mind fuck y'all. And then boom, he put him in class, which was like a son moment. Like, he sunned them. Like, and that was a son moment. Like, yo, chill. Like, that was a J. Cole, Lil Pump moment. Like, let me school you real quick. And he put him in school, and he was like playing around with it. It was just like really letting them know, like, yo, I'm him. Alright? You know what I'm saying? And they was like, alright, if you him, then how this gonna work, you know? And then he had a premonition. And the premonition when he saw Gambit. He saw Gambit's death. And now a lot of speculation online is saying Gambit might be part of the Four Horsemen that comes along with Apocalypse, who is like the Omega mutant, the original mutant. And he might be the Angel of Death, right? That might be who he becomes. Now that would be quite a twist, but I'd be interested to see that, because I mean, hey, it's your sandbox. You can play with it now. No Diddy. So with that being said, I really like how they tie back what was going on Earth along with him. And while he had his whole scenario going on, Storm scenario going on, and when he saw this premonition of what was happening to the X-Men, he was like, yo, I gotta go back home. My family needs me. I gotta get up out of here. I gotta go home. And this old lady was like, if you go, that means we can't be together. He was like, yo, if that's what it means, then I'm sorry. Maybe this ain't meant to be. But they my day one since day one. That's my family. You feel me? I have no family here. I just got you, and the rest of everybody else hate me. But that's my. Nah, I'm not. Nah. I'm like their dad. How would I leave them hanging like that? Nah. And I love that. I love that because he could have turned tail, and who would have known? Other than his conscience, but I mean, come on, like he talk, he's kind of he can erase that part of his mind and be like, and he's gonna erase his mind anyway. So realistically, would he really have guilt? Right? Ain't nothing to be guilt about, So that just shows you his integrity as a person, which I love. Because he always had integrity throughout the series, the original series, and I love they kept that same motion. And then obviously it kind of shows what was going on with Storm and Forge. I got the name right this time. Forge and Adversary. So it's Forge. He was impaled by Adversary and it was poisoning him. So the episode picks up where he's like, look, I know where to find this magic root or this magic herb, but it's like a ways off, and you ain't gonna be able to find it on your own. So you need to take me with you. Storm was like, bet. So they rode out there, and he was like, it's in a confined spot, which everybody knows. Storm do not like confined spots. She's claustrophobic, which is I am as well. And she goes, and she's like, know what? I rock with you. I got feelings for you. I got love for you. You're dying. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get this herb so I can save your life. So she goes up in there, and then while going up in there, she started to get a little bit of anxiety and fear, and Adversary feeds off of fear, guys. He feeds off of fear and loathing and stress and doubt, and he just come out of nowhere. I smell that. Yeah, smells like fear in here. You know what I'm saying? And Storm was like, look, big dog, like, hey, whatever you smell, I'm still going to get this. You want to take me out, but I'm going to save my boy's life. And she goes to continue, and they had like a really, really impactful dialogue. And I can't say it word for word, so I maybe put the clip in here, but with Disney, it made it difficult for me to put a lot of clips in here because Disney owned the rights to that, and they would flag me before I post it. So I'll just say it was in the sums of saying where Adversary was saying, look, like, you can't save your friends. You're not able to save your friends. Your friends are dying, or most of them are dead. You're useless to them now. Just accept not having power. Just accept being useless. Just accept being pitiful. Like, just accept it. It's all right. Welcome it in. And that's how Adversary overtakes you. And she was like, nah, like, I remember who I am. I am a goddess. Like, I remember who the fuck I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she started remembering. She's like, yeah, I do have fear, but I also have courage. And then, again, paraphrasing. And she ended up channeling her powers back, which kind of like what I said in a few episodes back, like she's going to have to go through some sort of trials and tribulation before gaining access to her power again, that was her trial and tribulation I was talking about there. I know a little something. But, so then she ended up, which was kind of unique because she had a mohawk, but then somehow she went Super Saiyan 3, ended up growing sides, and she got like she had no bald edges no more, so she got a full head of hair now. I don't know. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. But that's also part, and that's part of the writers listening, or the illustrators listening to the fans, because a lot of fans was outraged about the mohawk. Me personally, she kind of had a mohawk in the comics too, so I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. But they like, listen, we're listening to you, we hear you, so we're gonna give her a full head of hair. I don't know how, but we're gonna do it like on a Super Saiyan vibe. Like, and it was like a Super Saiyan transformation, and then boom, here comes the hair, which is pretty cool. And then she goes to like just coming to herself as she once were. She saved Forge, healed Forge, and then that's when she noticed, and I think I jumped the gun a little bit because at the time she didn't notice her gamut, the attack happened. But she did notice after she got back from healing Forge, and she saw on the TV that the accident took place, or the attack took place. And that's when she was like, yo, what the f-? You know what I'm saying? So now she's tapped in, right? Then you got a Xavier's Charles Xavier's tapped in. And so those are your two, that's the right hand and left hand right there. Charles has her as her second. So they tapped in now. So now they coming back home to see what the smoke is about. You feel what I'm saying? So the next episode is going to be fire. It's going to be fire. But just to really see a lot of things take place in that episode, like especially Charles, his whole journey on that planet. You saw a lot of cameos from a lot of other characters within the X-Men universe kind of had their debut, or they debut on this series as well. They continued with the same cast as well, which is pretty cool because X-Men is large. It's not just Charles and Magneto and their gangs. It's like they're everywhere, and they're in space as well. And they're not in space, but you got aliens and stuff, and a lot of cosmos. And I really would have loved if they would have played with the Cosmo kind of thing a little bit more, because then somehow you could bring in Silver Surfer and somehow the Galactus and then Fantastic Four. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a big sandbox, y'all. Y'all still can utilize, still play with that. There's a huge sandbox there. You can still, like I said before, a few episodes back, you can bring in these other Marvel properties and kind of like flush them out in the X-Men universe as almost like their starting grounds or their starting pivot, and then they can pivot into their series. But obviously you don't want to do it right now because you're telling the X-Men story, but I will still keep a pin in that cosmic chapter, or that cosmic saga. I will still keep a pin in that because you can play with that a lot there, and figure out how you want to bring in these other space figures, or these figures that's out there as well. The cosmos, you got Nova. You can bring out there the Nova Corps. You got Captain Marvel, and all of them with the Kree and the Scrolls. So it's a lot you can play with there, and it's an open sandbox. So the rest is yours. But episode 6 was fire. I mean, I love the direction they're going in. They have done a fantastic job in storytelling so far, and like it's only up from here. But again, I don't know how many episodes the young man has written. I don't know if he just did the first season, and the second season's up to whoever's the next writer. But I really would love whoever the next writer is, or if they just bring him back. Either way, I hope they keep the same tone and the same way of storytelling, because it is fun. As a cartoon, watching it, you don't think to yourself, this is a cartoon, right? You think to yourself, this is something I was watching as a child and I'm continuing to watch now, and the stories are something I can fully grasp with the politics and the struggle and the drama. I can fully, digest it now as an adult, because the same level of storytelling was told back then. But as a child, you didn't understand the weight of it or the validity of it. So you just knew your favorite heroes was on screen, but now you understand the struggles and everything they're dealing with, and the bigotry and all that, which is great storytelling. And they really talk about bigotry a lot. They really talk about racism a lot on the X-Men. That's how X-Men always had been. And and I said before, we know what they're hitting towards is the racial divide, which is they're keeping that same tone, and I 100% rock with it. So with that being said, man, the episode to me was a good pivot, but I really want the next episode 7 to somehow explain what in that is going on right now on Genosha. Like, what's next? Like, we're not going to sweep that under the rug and like, it happened, right? Because clearly they're not going to do that. That's way too much of a catastrophic event to take place to just like, all right, next episode. No, because X-Men is known for previously on X-Men. Like, they're known for that. So we want to know what's next. How you going to explain this? Like, is Magneto really dead? Because let's be honest, he's one of the pillars of X-Men. Now, not to say Gambit isn't, but Magneto is like the pillar. He's like the, you know what I mean? It's like Goku, Vegeta. You can't have Dragon Ball without Vegeta at this point, right? So I want to know what happened. What happened there, and how can we bring him back? Because Gambit is dead, but his body is not like disfigured or anything like that. So who knows what kind of witchcraft or what kind of science or magic they can use to bring him back. We don't know. In the X-Men, you got Cable, and you got Bishop. You feel what I'm saying? They are time travelers, so who knows? It might show. We never know. Episode 7 might just be in Cable's timeline, in Bishop's timeline, and it showed them on their end trying to prevent the episode 5 event. Like, and it shows them keep going back, it's almost like their point of view of episode 5. So that'll be really great writing right there. So that'll be, you know, on their end, and it shows you the future and the mutants of the future, and it kind of like, you know, shows you, you know, who's still rocking, who's still alive. So it kind of gives you like the Days of Future Past type episode off of X-Men. All right, so I would love for them to kind of, then that way they can explain what happened on episode 5, and then kind of like, because episode 6 is probably the events that happened on episode 6 is probably the start of a big build-up. So I'm assuming it might be 8 episodes or 10 episodes. So you're thinking it's going to be like they're not going to spearhead the events of Genosha right off. They're going to tell us from a different point of view, but the recap or the rebuttal to what happened, or the regroup and the bounce back, or the retaliation rather, won't happen until maybe the season finale, because that is the biggest thing to take place. I don't think there's nothing else that's going to be as big in the series, especially this late in the series, to overthrow the death of Gambit and the death of Magneto. Nothing I think you got that's going to hit this hard. So they're going to tell that, obviously that story is told, but they're going to have a slow build up to what we're going to do next. So that's why I said you might have a next episode when it's Cable and Bishop from their perspective on trying to save everything or not. So that's just my synopsis there. And there are synopses out there now. They got leaked episode titles, but I'm not into that. I'm old school. Let me figure it out. Let me watch it for the first time and figure it out for the first time. So with that being said, that was my recap of episode 6 of X-Men 97. The show is fire so far. I'm gonna not give it ratings every episode, but just know it's fire. It's on Disney Plus. Make sure you go watch it and follow me for the next episode so we can discuss what happens on episode 7. And remember, I said it might be the point of view from Cable and Bishop on the next episode. It might be just what they was trying to prevent and what happened. And then their timeline might be the aftermath. And if they might be living in the aftermath and they're trying to prevent it. So I'm telling you, it might be that in episode 7. Like, that's the only card you got to play now, you know, while you build up to the big reveal. So with that being said, it's your boy Chris Lee, man. If you like my Nerd Talk episodes, if you like what you've been hearing so far, make sure you watch and make sure you share my content. And also, man, just subscribe. For real, though. I know a lot of y'all been watching. A lot of y'all been peeping in. It don't hurt to subscribe. I promise you, it don't hurt. I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to show up at your daughter's wedding asking for a favor. I'm not going to be hitting you in your inbox. You know what I'm saying? Like, just help me out. Just subscribe, okay? And hit the notification bell if you really feeling what my content is about, and then you can get the newest episodes when they drop and you get that alert. So with that being said, peace and enjoy y'all Friday, man.